Welcome to Pouches and More. So all of them measure 16 inches by 12 inches. That is one piece of lining fabric, one piece of foam quilting or sponge quilting, and one piece of rubber quilting. So we are going to quilt these three together. We also require one piece of main fabric which has been fused with interfacing and one piece of lining fabric, and both of them measure 15 inches by 8 inches. One piece of false leather and one piece of lining fabric, and these two measure 15 inches by 3.5 inches. Next we'll also require two pieces of false leather and two pieces of lining fabric, and these two measure 1.5 by 1.5 inch. We'll also require a 13-inch long zip. So these are all the materials required for making the front pocket. Now for the interior lining and pockets, we require two pieces of lining fabric that have been fused with interfacing, and these two measure 15 inches by 11 inches. And this is the interfacing that we'll be using, in which one side has an adhesive. So the shiny side is the adhesive side. The shiny side, we will be placing it on the wrong side of the fabric so that it sticks and we iron it. So this is how we have fused the fabric, and this measures 15 inches by 11 inches. Two pieces of fabric for the pocket, and these two measure 15 inches by 15 inches. We have used foam quilting here and for the pocket, that is the interior pockets, and we will be folding the fabric in half and only half we will be quilting. This is how we will be doing it. So we require quilting measuring 13 inches by 6.5 inch. Next we require main fabric measuring 16 inches by 12 inches. Again foam quilting or sponge quilting and rubber quilting. Again we will be quilting these three together, and these measure 16 inches by 12 inches. Next we require one piece of main fabric fused with interfacing. It's the same interfacing that we did initially, and one piece of lining fabric, and these two measure 2.5 inches by 30 inches. Again two pieces of main fabric fused with interfacing, the same type of interfacing, and we have got two pieces over here. And we also require two pieces of lining fabric, and these four also measure 1.5 inch by 20 inches. We require 22-inch long zip, and these are for the straps. We have taken two main pieces of fabric again fused with the same type of interfacing, and what we have done over here is we have folded it in half first and got the raw edges to the center again and folded it. We have done this for both the pieces, and these two pieces measure, when they are open, they measure 3 inches by 15 inches. So both of them measure the same. So these will all be the materials required. So first we are going to quilt the fabric, main fabric. So for that we have taken the main fabric and we will be placing it wrong side facing up. So on the wrong side we will be placing the foam sheet or the sponge, and on top of this we will place the rubber quilting material. So this is how we will be placing them. The sponge or the foam is sandwiched in between the main fabric and the rubber quilting. Now we are going to make a 2-inch wide stitch on this for quilting. The same thing we will be doing on the other fabric that we will be quilting, that is the lining material that we will be quilting. So same thing, the sponge or the foam is sandwiched between the rubber and the lining fabric, and we are going to quilt them. on the lining fabric we have made a 2-inch wide line all over, and this is the same where we have put them together for quilting. So we are going to quilt the lining fabric also now. So both our fabrics are quilted. Now after quilting we are going to cut them to a size of 15 inches by 11 inches, both of them. Next we are also going to quilt the pocket. So for that we'll take the fabric and fold it in half. The lining fabric or the pocket fabric, we'll just fold it in half like this. So we get a center line. We'll make a marking over here that is exactly on the center. Now we are going to place the quilting material, that is a foam sheet, rubber sheet, right in the center. The edge will be aligning with the center line. Now all around we'll be leaving both sides around 1 inch, and also on the base we'll be leaving around 1 inch, and we are going to fold it like this. So now we are going to quilt this also. Now this exactly same thing we'll be doing on the other piece also. So these two pieces are for the inside pockets. We are going to quilt them. Now this foam sheet is placed on the wrong side of the fabric. Now we have made marks on the fabric. So this is for the quilting pocket fabric. We have made marks for quilting, and it is also 2 inches wide. Next we'll also be quilting the gusset fabric. So we'll be using the same rubber quilting over here also. Here we have fused it with interfacing. We are just going to place the quilting material like this, and we are going to make a stitch only on the border all around. So here we have placed the quilting material below the main fabric. So this is how it will be. On the wrong side we have placed it, and now we are going to make a stitch all around on the edge. This is also done. We have stitched on the edge only. Now the extra quilting material, we are just going to cut it. So this is the main fabric and the lining fabric which we just quilted, where we have used rubber as well as foam. Now we'll just turn it on the wrong side, the main one, and we are going to make a curve the corner. So for that we're just going to make a marking of 1 1/4 inch. So on all corners we're just going to make a 1 1/4 inch mark. So as of now we're just going to make it in one corner. Now this 1 1/4 inch we are just going to use any round object and curve it. So this is the curve that we'll be doing in the corner. So this is 1 1/4 inch mark we have done on both sides, and we have just curved it. We'll be doing this on all the corners as well as for the other fabric also, and we are going to cut this also. So all 4 corners we are going to make the marking on both. Now we have done the marking on one fabric, on the main fabric. Now we are going to cut this, and we'll be doing exactly the same thing on the lining fabric also, the quilted lining fabric also. So here we're just going to cut the 4 corners. Now the same thing we'll do on the other fabric also. So both our fabrics have been cut and the corners have been curved. Now we're just going to put this aside. We'll prepare the zip now. So I've taken the zip, and this is the shorter zip, and we're going to take both the tab fabrics also. So here we have taken 2 pieces of false leather and 2 lining pieces. Now on the slider side we are going to place the false leather piece right side facing down, and on the other side we are going to place the lining fabric. So the zip will be sandwiched in between, and both the fabrics right side will be facing the zip. So here we are just going to clip this together, and we need to make a stitch over here. So here both right sides, that is on the slider side we have got the main fabric, and behind we have got the lining fabric. We want to make a stitch. The same thing we'll do on the other side also. So on the slider side we are going to place the main fabric, and behind we are going to place our lining fabric, and we are going to put them together. So the zip is sandwiched in between, Now we will be clipping them together. We need to make a straight stitch over there. So this is how they will be looking. So straight stitch on both the sides. Once the straight stitch is done, we are going to open the fabrics like this, and we'll be making a stitch. We won't be making a stitch on the stitch seam, but around 3/4 inch below we'll be making a stitch. The same thing we'll do on the other side also. Open both the fabrics together like this, and around 3/4 inch below the stitch seam we are going to make another stitch mark. So this is the stitch mark that we have done. We have also made a straight stitch that is only to hold the fabrics together. It's completely optional. Now we need a center marking. So for that we're just going to fold it like this. And on both sides of the zipper tape we'll be making a center mark. So this is the center mark on the zipper tape. The same thing we'll be doing on our main fabric also. We are just going to fold it in half and make a center line. So this is our center line on the main fabric also. So a center mark is done. Now we're just going to cut this extra fabric of the tag. Since we need to align the edges neatly, we're just going to cut it off on both the sides. So we have already made a center mark. This is the center mark. We have also made a center mark on our main fabric. So this is the center mark on the main fabric. Now right side facing up, we are going to align the center mark. So slider will be facing down. Just align the center mark of the zipper tape as well as the main fabric and clip them together. See that the edges are also aligned neatly. So we're just going to put this together and clip them. Once that is done, we are going to take our lining fabric, right side facing down, align it from the sides and the top, and again clip them together. So we are going to put the fabrics together along with the zip. So here right sides of the fabrics are together and the zip is in between. A simple straight stitch over here. Once you have attached the zip, we are going to take both the fabrics on one side and finger press the stitch seam. We need to make a top stitch now. So I am just going to neatly finger press the stitch seam and make a top stitch on the main fabric, on the fabrics together. So our top stitch is done on one side. Now for the other side, we are going to either we can make a center mark and align them, or else we can directly align the sides and the top. So right side facing down, I am going to align it from the side and the top and clip it together. So here main fabrics are together, we'll flip them over, and on the lining fabric side we are going to put the lining fabric right side facing down. So here we are going to put the lining fabric also right side facing down, align from the side and the top and clip them together. So here we have got lining fabric right sides together, and on the other side we have got our main fabric right sides are together. Now we'll have to make a straight stitch over here. So we have also made a top stitch on this side, so it's complete now. Our pocket is complete. We need to put the back cover now. So before doing that, we are just going to make a stitch all around, that is only to hold these fabrics together. So we have finished stitching 3 sides, and that is to hold the fabrics together. Now we are going to take this quilted fabric which we did initially. This is the lining fabric that we quilted. Now we are going to place it right side facing up, and on this we are going to place the panel that we just did, that's the pocket panel that we just prepared, and we are going to stitch this all around. So right sides are together. That will be the interior of the pocket. So now just going to align the edges and stitch all around. That's on 4 sides will be stitching. So now here we will be stitching all around. After stitching we are going to cut the curved corners just like the quilted fabric. Now here we have used a butter paper for stitching the false leather. So we have placed the butter paper on the false leather and we will be stitching. We can either change the foot or we can use this method to stitch false leather. So I will just be aligning the paper along with the leather and stitch it. Now after stitching this, we are going to tear the paper and it comes off very easily. And there will be no paper also left. It looks neat also and it's easy. So it's this easy and the stitch also looks neat. It won't look untidy. We just have to tear the paper on the stitch line so it comes out very easily. So this is how it will be looking. It looks neat also. So we have finished stitching all around. Now we need to cut the corners over here. So we will be doing that also. So our pocket will be complete. So this panel is complete, that is our front pocket is complete, and this is how it will be looking now. Now we need to attach the strap. So for that we need a center marking. We'll just fold it in half like this and we'll make a center line over here. This will be our center for the main side now, right side. Now both sides of the center mark we are going to take 2 inches. So this is the center mark. On either side we'll be making a marking of 2 inches. So this is where we'll be placing the strap. So this is our 2-inch mark. Now we'll take the strap. We have only folded it and kept. So this is what we have done. We have folded in half, got the raw edges to the center and again folded it. Now we are just going to stitch this. That is both sides we are going to stitch this and prepare. So now we have made the center marking and the 2-inch mark, and we have also prepared the strap. Now we want to place the strap on the outer side of the 2 inch. So 2 inches here. On the outer side we have placed the strap. The other side also we'll be doing the same thing. See that the strap is absolutely straight. It doesn't turn anywhere. So this is the 2 inch. On the outer side we're just going to place this. Align the edges also neatly. Now the same thing we'll have to do for the other side also. So here we'll be stitching. Now the same thing we'll be doing for the other side. So for that also we'll just take our fabric. This is also the quilted one. The main fabric we have quilted. So we'll do the same thing, that is we are going to fold it in half, make a center marking and then take 2 inches on either side of the center line and attach the strap. So first we're just going to make the center mark. Now from the center mark 2 inches on either side, and we're going to place the strap on this 2 inches, that is on the outer side of the 2 inch. And remember that the strap has to be absolutely straight. See that it does not turn anywhere. And align the edges also. once this is done, we are going to make a stitch. We need to make a stitch over here to hold the strap, and we'll do that for both the panels. We're just going to make a stitch to hold the strap. So our back and front is ready. Now we'll prepare the interiors. So for that we have quilted the pocket. We're going to take those pockets and we're going to attach it to our lining fabric. That is the inside interiors. So for that what we are going to do is we'll just take one as of now, and the raw edges we are going to align it with the raw edges. So we're just going to place it in the base or align it with the edge. So we're going to make a stitch on 3 sides over here. As of now we're just going to clip this. The same thing we'll do on the other fabric also. Align the raw edges together with the raw edges. The folded part will be on top, and we are going to clip this and make a stitch all around. So here both we are going to make a stitch all around, so our interior pocket will be ready. So our interior pockets are also ready, and this is how they will be looking. Now we need to curve the corners over here, so we will do exactly the same thing that we did initially. That is, we are going to make a marking of 1 1/4 inches on all 4 corners and then curve it. So on all 4 corners we will be making this marking. This is what we did initially once we finished quilting the fabrics. So the same thing we will be doing. All 4 corners we are just going to make a 1 1/4 inch mark, and we are going to take any round object and curve the corners. Then we are going to cut it. Now we will be doing this on both the interior panels also. So we have just marked over here. Now we will take this circle and curve it. Now once it is curved, we are going to cut this also. So all 4 corners we will be doing this, and we will do it for the other side also. So we finished curving the corners, and the same thing we'll be doing on the other side also. So this side also we'll curve the corners. So we have curved the corners of both the panels. It is done. We're just going to keep this aside now. Now next we'll prepare the zipper panel. So for that we have placed it right side facing up. The slider side will be facing down, and we're going to align the raw edges and clip them neatly. We're just going to clip this together. Now we'll take our lining fabric, right side facing down, align it from the side and the top, and again clip this together neatly. So here both fabrics, zipper in the center, we are going to make a straight stitch over here. So that is done. Now we'll make a top stitch. For that we'll put both the fabrics on one side, and we are going to finger press the stitch seam. This is as we do for all zip panels. We're just going to finger press the stitch seam, and we'll be making a straight stitch over here. So zipper panel one side is done. Now for the other side we'll place, we made the top stitch also. So for the other side now we are just going to place main fabric right side facing down. We're just going to align it from the sides and the top, and we are going to clip this together. So just align it neatly. Now this side we have got our main fabrics. We will just flip it over, and here we are going to place our lining fabric right side facing down. Now this also will align from the side and the top, and we are going to clip together neatly. So here we have got the lining fabric right sides together. On the other side is the main fabric. So it's a simple straight stitch that we'll be doing. We have finished stitching and we have also made a top stitch. So our zipper panel is completely ready. Now we're just going to cut off the extra on the sides, and we are going to make a stitch all around, that is only to hold the lining and the main fabric together. So here our zipper panel is absolutely ready. Now we'll take our gusset, that is the base, and we're going to place it right side facing down. So we'll just put it like this, align it from the sides and clip them together. So this is our gusset, which is our base. It will be attached to the zipper panel. So once this side is done, we'll just flip it over, and on this side we are going to place our lining fabric right side facing down, and we are going to clip it together. Here we need to make a stitch to hold the fabrics together. So we're just going to clip this again together on the other side. So here we have got our main fabrics together, that is, here we are going to make a stitch. Here we have got our main fabrics together, and on the other side we have got our lining fabrics together. So here we will be making a simple straight stitch. So once the stitching is done, we are going to put the fabrics together on one side, and we will be making a top stitch. So we are just going to put both the fabrics on one side, and we are going to make a top stitch. So it's a simple straight stitch that again we will be doing. So it's a very simple straight stitch that we'll be doing. So we have finished doing the top stitch and one side is done. Now for the other side, we are going to get the main fabric again right side facing down. So the main fabric right sides will be together. We are going to align the edges over here, and we are going to clip them together. As we did for the other side, we will be doing the same thing. So main fabric right sides will be together, and this is how it will be looking from the side. So this is the main fabric side. Now the lining fabric will be on the lining fabric side itself, and right sides will be together. See that here also the fabric does not turn, it's absolutely straight. So just align the edges and clip them together, and from the side both the fabrics will be looking like this. The lining as well as the main fabric will be looking like this. Now here we are going to make a stitch to hold them together. Once we finish stitching, we are going to turn it to the right side and make a top stitch. So we have finished doing the top stitch on both the sides. Now this side we have also stitched the edges together. We will be doing the same thing. That is, we are just going to put the lining and the main fabric together like this, and we are going to stitch on both the edges, that is only to hold the fabrics together. So both the sides we are going to make a stitch to hold the fabrics together.